Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Trader Minute. It's great to have you aboard. I'm Carl, and thanks for tuning in this morning. Sorry, let me just get my volume turned down here so I don't have any type of an echo. Futures this morning up about one, fairly flat, and fair value is about the same. About even as well. So looked like a fairly flat open today, and a lot going on out there in the market. Janet Yellen made some comments last night, pretty dovish comments, which caused bonds to rise quite dramatically. We've also seen a rise in gold and silver today. Gold's up about $15, silver about 27 cents. Oil's down slightly today. We got as far as economic reports out there. Welcome, Smitty. As far as economic reports out there today, we've got some nat gas report out at 10:30, and then also a petroleum report out at 11 o'clock. Those are Eastern times. A little bit later on today. Okay, jobless claims, they came in a couple thousand lower. The last weeks were revised upward. Right now this is not any type of big deal. This is a weekly number. And so, we're coming out every single week. The market's not going to pay too much attention to it, especially with everything else going on out there today. The big thing up there in the Senate today is Janet Yellen has a confirmation hearing before the Senate Banking Committee. That starts at 10 o'clock Eastern. And she's been saying some comments. Now, she's going to be the new person. And, I mean, everything she says it's going to be taken as okay. Well, what did she say exactly? It's going to be micro analyzed, every word, and even how she pronounces it is going to be micro analyzed from here on out. Okay, I don't know if I want that position, and but I'll let someone else do it, and we can talk about them. Okay, but that's going to be interesting. She said that the strong recovery will ultimately give Fed what it needs to reduce monetary accommodation and the reliance on unconventional policy tools such as asset purchases. With some of the things like that she was saying has caused gold and bonds to jump today based on, it doesn't look like they're talking taper. Okay, some big earnings out there. Cisco. They topped by 2 cents. Revenues were slightly lower, but the big thing was weak outlook. They said that all top 10 emerging markets are weak. They did add 15 billion to a buyback, but those forward-looking comments has cost Cisco quite a bit. Let's go look at a chart of them this morning. And pretty obvious to see where they made the remarks. Last night they're trading around 24. Now they're trading at 21, down a few dollars. That's a pretty decent move for a $20 stock to drop that far. Okay, that also has caused ripples with IBM. IBM last night trading up in the 183.40, 183.50 area, down at 180. Well, just about 181. So they've fallen on the. Did it work out good? All right, good. Good, Wick. It's fallen quite a bit this morning based on just what Cisco and their cautionary commentary out there. Some other ones that with Kohl's, they missed by 5 cents. Revenues slightly lower. They lower their guidance. That's going to be under some pressure today. Walmart, their estimates were they beat by a cent. Revenues were down 2 billion. Walmart, they do over 100 billion. And so the 2 billion is not that big a miss, even though it is, but it doesn't, for compared to what they're doing, it's not that big a miss. Okay, now right here today, let's talk about looking forward in today. It's going to be difficult to enter a trade ahead of Yellen. Now, Yellen, that starts at 10 o'clock. That doesn't mean, what's she going to say now? It's going to be a long, drug-out thing throughout the day. But we have options expiration tomorrow. we'll look for some entries, possibilities. I'll give the top three a little bit later on today. And but right around here, it's going to be difficult to enter a trade. We're watching Capital One, our one trade that we have out there right now. Where last night it ran right up into the close, just above our stop. Now we need a little bit of time to notify all of our members of an exit, and didn't give us enough time to be able to notify everybody. We could have jumped out the trade ourselves, but where we couldn't get everyone notified, we did not get out. But we're going to be watching that very closely this morning. We're probably going to let it play out a little bit, but if it looks like it's going to take off, we will exit that trade. Okay. Now the Nasdaq's down a little bit, but overall, you can see, go back here to the chart of the futures. You can see, they've come off the highs of the morning, but it's just really mellow. And after a day like yesterday, for the futures to be down a little teeny bit like this and fairly flat, it's somewhat bullish. What you don't want to see is a day where we had one of these days, where not too long ago, where the futures are up really, really big one day, and then the next day they're crashing down. That makes for a lot of volatility. The small, mild mornings like this, after a pretty decent run yesterday on the S&P, is somewhat bullish. All right, let me hang on just for a second here. Let me just check our video feed. Okay, the bells has rung. Okay, I'm here. I'm told that I'm good on the video feed. Okay, so the bell's rung. Let's go out and run through our position. Here's ConocoPhillips. So it's opened up about 70.23. We're going to let it play out just for a little while this morning, but that's on the list. Let me go over here to stock charts. A little bit more of a clear picture for you here at stock charts. So it's gapped up about 9 cents. Right now it's trading at 70.15. Again, we're not going to let this play out very long. If this looks like it's going to start to rise from here, we're not going to let it play out long. We'll be exiting this soon this morning if it doesn't start dropping back down here. All right, let's take a look at yesterday's top three. The first one that we talked about yesterday was Texas Instruments. Okay, it's down a dime. And very similar, we saw some of the same action yesterday on the top three. Nothing significant. I mean, the market's been open for a minute. Nothing there. All right, overall, it still looks good. Nike, gapping up about 42 cents this morning. I like this action so far. It's early again. Gapping up over 78. That's what we'd want it to do. And then Waste Management. It's up a dime. Okay, and what we'd like this to do today is just push a little bit higher. If it can get up in that upper Bollinger Band, even better. But initial reaction here is slightly positive as well. All right, now one stock that was on one of the runner-ups from a day or two ago was Trip, maybe yesterday. I forget. I don't think it was yesterday. But they got an upgrade. Price target, well, I'm sorry, they didn't get an upgrade, but they had the price target raised from 70 to 85. The analyst that did that didn't give an upgrade. They held their, I think it was a buy rating on Trip, but they raised the price target. Okay, and another stock that we've followed in here, Solar City. They got an upgrade to an outperform over there at Baird. All right, so is that playing in on some of the other stocks? Yeah, here's Jinko Solar. It's one of the top three from a few days ago. We had a top three put it on the top three on this day right here, where it made a trend right or bull signal right there. And then one of the other solar companies came out with some pretty bad earnings, and it took basically the whole solar sector down. All the companies within that sector were down that day. But you notice, if you look at this technically, that's not a significant move. I mean, at the time, if you were in this trade, it was a little bit scary because, yeah, they were down $1.30 or something like that, and got the down. I mean, that the one company went down pretty big, but lo and behold, here comes some other companies announcing earnings, and solar. I mean, Jinko is going to be pretty soon, and they're right back on track. So it was like a blip on the radar. And one thing I've learned over the years is I'm a big technical guy. I mean, I love technicals. They've always fascinated me and how they work and everything like that. And if you could try to take news and the emotions out of it, I mean, it's not always easy to do. When you see a stock that you might have a trade on that's gapped down $1 or $1.30 or something like that, it's not always easy. But if you can stick to your game plan and look at it technically and say, all right, well, is this breaking my stop? Is this looking really bearish in here? Is the volume really high? Is it breaking support levels? You look at those things to see if it does take you out of the trade. And if that takes you out of the trade, then get out. But if not, just stick with your game plan. All right. Some of the other stocks, I know there's a lot of you into Tesoro, and Tesoro this morning is down 23 cents. I had similar price action yesterday. If you look at that candle from yesterday, what did it do first thing in the morning here? It opened up pretty flat and ran down and to turn and go positive. Now, if you're in this trade, and we've said it a bunch of times, stay in it as long as it remains in that upper band. It's so early in the day, it's hard to say if it's going to run down and everything's going to change. The odds of that are not there, that all of a sudden everything's going to reverse and it's going to go lower on you. The odds of that are not there. The odds of this going higher are. It might consolidate. It might have a day where it doesn't move a whole lot or down slightly. But overall, this chart looks bullish. Other stocks from the top three, we had Verifone, Pay in there. Same thing. I mean, yesterday this was down initially at the start, turned around positive. It's still in the upper Bollinger Band. Yeah, newbie, we're going to watch this, let it play out just for a few minutes here. If it doesn't come back anytime soon, we're going to be out. Okay. We would have exited last night, but we didn't have enough time to be able to notify everybody of the exit because it ran up above our stop right into the close. All right, as far as Capital One. Okay, and then some of the other stocks that we were looking at, well, this is Red Hat. And Red Hat, they got another upgrade today. It's not taking the stock very far, but this is one of those stocks. It's got a nice move here. It's gapped up. It's quite a ways away from the 7 right in this range. This would be one to watch today if you happen to be in the trade. At the time when we said this was on the top 3, we mentioned that probably not make the trade that day. And then, of course, it gets a huge upgrade, and then the stock jumped a lot higher from there. Some of the other stocks that we were talking about last night, the runner-ups, one was Hog, and it's up this morning about 0.5%, and then McDonald's, and it's going up as well this morning. All right, and so some of the things we're going to be watching today, we're just going to keep an eye on this market. We're not expecting a lot today with the market, with Yellen and everything going on like that. Options expiration tomorrow, and it can be a little bit of see some volatility around options expiration as things go on there on the street. Okay. All right, everybody. I'll be on video with you all day long. If you have any questions, comments, you can reach me through video. Okay, let's go look at thanks, Slawek. And Pandora, right? This was a couple days ago, I believe, was there as well. So, initially down 21 cents, not a big deal at all this early in the day. And if you happen to be in a trade on this, just ride that upper band. As long as it stays in that band, then exit. Okay. And there's nothing as far as anything that would be worrisome right in here. No. It's too early to say. Okay, everybody, thanks for your time. I'll be with you. Incy? Yeah, I like that one from yesterday. Thanks, Martin. Okay, everybody, thanks for your time. I'll be on with you all day long. Thanks. Bye bye.